After a pretty crazy peak Sasuke episode, we are back. Naruto episode 34. This episode starts off inside of Naruto's nightmare where Orochimaru attacks him. Suddenly he wakes up. It was because Choji hit him with a stick. As Naruto looks in front of him, he sees the aftermath, which makes him react, remembering Orochimaru ducking to the ground. After such a late reaction, Team 10 claims Naruto is an idiot. This is when he angrily looks back at his two teammates and sees that Sakura's hair has been cut. Naruto then yells out Sakura and runs towards her. Naruto asks her about her hair, which, Sakura's response, I'm changing my image. Our guy is a little bit of a doof. He doesn't know till just now. Why are you guys here? And so Sakura has to be the one to explain it to him. Everybody helped out. As Team 7 and Team 10 are all kind of hanging around, this is when 1010 comes in to collect Rock Lee, which she gets them to wake up by shaking him ferociously. After Rock Lee is waken up, him and 1010 have a conversation where he gets scolded for reacting alone. Not only that, but he gets to find out that Sasuke was the one that fended them off. While the two are trying to have their conversation, this is where Naruto runs in there, points his finger at Rock Lee and says, "You bushy bro." And of course, Sakura has to correct him, "Don't say rude things to Lee," then punches him. And we get this really funny fourth wall break. It's Shikamaru and Choji looking at the distance, seeing Naruto get hit. That Naruto, he's completely out of the loop. He's not the type to be the protagonist of a story, certainly not. After punching Naruto to Mars, Sakura looks over at Lee and says, "Lee, thank you." Sakura is just so thankful for what he's done. She says, "Because of you, I was able to wake up. I feel like I've gotten a little stronger." This makes Rock Lee tear up where he says, "Sakura, it looks like my efforts weren't enough." Rock Lee then looks over at Sasuke. "Sasuke, just what you'd expect from the Uchiha clan. To chase off the Sound Village ninjas. Just as I thought, you possess amazing strength. I was beaten to a pulp." Remember, Sasuke was knocked out this whole time, and whenever he hears this, he says, "What? He was beaten to a pulp? What's he talking about? Were those guys really that strong?" After Sasuke comes out of his thoughts, Rock Lee says, "Sakura," and he proceeds to tell her the Lotus of Leaf Village blooms twice. We then hear Sakura say, "Huh," and I'm right there with her. Rock Lee continues with what he's trying to say. "When we meet again, I will become a stronger man." I really like the music that they use here. It's sort of slow, but it has like this romantic upbeat that is really nice. Rock Lee continues on to say, "I pledge it." As Sakura replies, "Okay," you get to see these annoying looks on both Naruto and Tenten's faces. After that little bit of a romantic moment, Inu calls Sakura over to do her hair for her. And while they get to talking, they have a little friendly banter over Sasuke. The next thing we see is Naiji watching everyone below, kind of hanging around. But what he's looking at comes into focus. It is Sasuke, and this is where we hear him say, "Sasuke Uchiha." He stands there still while the wind is blowing. At any rate, he's a strong opponent. As we continue on, we get to catch up with Team 8. We see Kaiba trying to comfort Akamaru, who's vigorously shaking. This is where we hear Shino ask, "Is he still shaking?" And he continues on, "It's already been half a day." And things get really spicy. Kaiba says this, "I don't blame him, it's because he saw that thing." We transition to Team 8 traveling through the forest. Kaiba then starts bragging to Akamaru, and we get to hear him say the guys who got caught in the trap had an Earth Scroll, so we can guess this took place right after they got it. Something to note is that Kaiba's pretty hard-headed just like Naruto, but as they're traversing, Kaiba tells his team to finally come to a stop. The reason for the stop is so that way the team can be safe. He tells Hinata, "Can you see 1 kilometer in that direction?" She uses her Bakugan ability. This is where she gets to see off, and that distance is Gaara. Additionally, we get to see Shino listening down. This is where he says, "Evidently, there are 6 people." And this is what Kaiba says, "Okay, let's go look." So think about this. They already have both scrolls, and they're doing this really for no reason. We get to hear Kaiba's reasoning on why they should go out there. If we take more, that means some other team will be left out. Mind you, Shino and Hinata are really disagreeing to this, but they're sort of passive. That's the thing that kind of sucks about this team is they're really passive, though it seems Shino has a little more fight than Hinata. I'd say this is straight up trickery. He tells his teammates that they're just gonna go and see. If it looks too dangerous, we won't battle for no reason. So he goes ahead and his teammates have no choice. The team comes to a sudden stop. This is where Akamaru is very frightened and even trying to hide. The reason behind this is Akamaru can sniff out the level of enemies' chakra and tell their strength. This tells it all to us. But this is the first time I've seen him this scared. After hearing about this frightening power, we get to see on this battlefield who the sand ninjas are standing off against. Teammate is watching the standoff from the bushes. While watching, we hear Kaiba make a comment. What's that little guy thinking to get involved with those guys? Akamaru lets out a whimper, and Kaiba is surprised. Hinata then asks what did he say, and we get to hear Kaiba translate it. He's saying that big guy is dangerous. Let's just say teammate is very scared. We look back at the battlefield, and a rain ninja says, "Hey kids, you should pick your opponents. You're all gonna die." Gaara responds, "That's enough of you." Let's do this quickly, old chap from the Hidden Rain village. As Kankuro stands there, we get to hear one of his thoughts, which is which scroll do these guys have? What's interesting is what Kankuro says to Gaara. Hey Gaara, doesn't it make sense to follow them and gather information before hunting them? Kankuro makes a really good point here. If they have the same type of scroll, there's no need to fight. Unnecessary battles are, and then Gaara cuts him off. It doesn't matter. Oh wow, this is really dark. If their eyes meet with mine, I'll kill them all. Then battle music starts playing, and we see this rain ninja hold on to these wood sticks about to pull them out. Well, let's do it quickly. I find this funny because they end up being umbrellas. This guy throws them up in the air, then does a single sign and says, "Die, kid." Ninja art, Senmon rainstorm. This makes the umbrella twist like crazy, and now there's a bunch of these needles or spikes flying all over the place. We hear the user say, up, down, right, left. There is no dead spot in this jutsu. In addition, all the Senmons are controlled by my chakra. They strike down on the man's intended target, and Gaara uses his sand to create some sort of barrier. The man loses his composure and he tries to make it rain again, but there is nothing that can stop Gaara's barrier. Then we hear Gaara say this, "Well, I'll make it rain blood." The rain ninjas begin to grow worried on the battlefield. Now we go back to the bushes where Kaiba is talking. He says, "What a giant chakra." And that sand, it smells terrible. Shino, confused, asks, "Smell?" What Kaiba smells is a strong smell of blood. Now we focus back on the battlefield, where we hear the hidden range Shinobi question, "Wall of sand?" Kankuro responds to this, "That's right, an absolute defense by sand." He manipulates sand inside a gourd and hardens it with magnified chakra. He continues on, it defends the circumference of Gaara's body. It's a jutsu that only he can get away with. Wow. Furthermore, it's somehow always automatically done. So without even thinking or trying to cast this, it protects him. After finding out that Gaara is undefeatable, he angrily runs in. Next, we see Gaara slowly put his hands together to do a single sign. To follow that, we see Gaara's two other teammates on the screen. Both of them know what's coming, and we hear in Kankuro's voice, "This guy's a goner." Tamari also says something right after. "That's what you get for rebelling against Gaara." Focus turns back to Gaara. All at once, "Sand coffin!" Sand grabs the man by the ankle, and it climbs him until he's literally buried in sand. While the man being buried, his umbrellas fall to the ground. This is where Gaara says something pretty taunting. "I can cover your loud mouth and kill you." Gaara then picks up one of the man's umbrellas and opens it. He continues on, but that's too pathetic. While still holding the jutsu, Gaara waves his arm. The now petrified man starts floating up. As we watch Gaara control this man that is floating, we see him all at once make a fist. Quickly, we look back at the trapped floating man. This is where Gaara shouts, "Sand burial." This scene most definitely deserves some work whenever this remake comes out. But essentially what Gaara does is he smushes this man, and what oozes out is all of his blood like it's rain. Gaara has his umbrella, that way he doesn't get drenched by it. After such a gruesome death, we hear Gaara continue to talk. "There's no pain. I knocked him even harder than was necessary. The bloody tears of a corpse merge with vast sinking sand, and provide more power to the demon of war." After their teammate dying and hearing the speech from Gaara, they put their scroll on the ground and try to ask, "Please let us go." Gaara throws his umbrella to the side, and he does the sand coffin to both of them. And it wouldn't be fair if it was just the one teammate. He does the sand burial to both of them. After watching such a gruesome show, teammate begins to make their escape. Back on the battlefield, Kangoro goes to retrieve the enemy team's scroll, and he finds out it is a heaven scroll. Now that they have one of each scroll, he looks back over at Gaara and says, "Okay, let's go to the tower." And Gaara immediately shuts him down. "Shut up. It's still not enough for me." Teammate who is slowly trying to get away hear this, and they just stop in place and they're like, "Oh, shoot." We hear this thought of Kaiba. "Uh-oh, did he notice us?" Kankuro responds back to Gaara, "Let's quit, Gaara." Gaara quickly replies back, "Are you scared, coward?" Kankuro walks forward and continues on. "Gaara, it's certainly no problem for you, but it's too dangerous for us. One set of scrolls is good." Kankuro now right in front of Gaara. "More than this is." Gaara then cuts him off. He has his hand out like he's going to do the sand coughing on his own teammate. This is what he says. Lame people don't give directions to me. Kakura grabs Gaara. That's enough. Whoa, I don't think we knew that before. How about if sometimes listen to what your big brother has to say? Yikes, this is Gaara's response. I never thought of you as my siblings, and that's siblings with an S, so that means they're both related to him. If you get in my way, I'll kill you. The two brothers continue to stare into each other's eyes. Then Gar all at once shakes him off. This is where he hands out his hand again, like he's about to do his jutsu. Tamari sees this and she tries to plead with him. Gagara, cut it out, please. As she is begging, this is where Gara puts his hand right towards his brother. And suddenly, he switches his position towards the bushes. Gara started to gather sand. His brother was prepared. He had his eyes closed. All at once, everyone was thinking of the worst. And suddenly, we get to see it was instead the corkscrew for Gara's cord that he was after. And this is where he replies to him, fine. We then see Gara walk off ahead of his team. And so this is what had Akamaru frightened. We skip to nightfall, and Team 8 has already made their way into the tower. Inside here, it is quiet and there is no one else to be seen. However, we get to hear from Shinu that might not be the case. He sent someone a little while ago. As Team 8 is talking amongst each other, they suddenly hear a voice, and this is when the Sand team walks in. Both teams look at each other. Gara just looks for a second and goes back to looking forward. But we get to see Kinkoro and Tamari keep staring. After that fearsome stare down, we go outside the tower, and then we go back up to see Anko having a meeting with another Black Ops. It's becoming a real disaster, but we can't cancel this test. And this meeting comes to a sudden interruption. We do hear a shinobi knock on the door, and he has a VHS tape, and he tells Anko, please take a look at this. Firstly, this tape is actually from the inside of the tower from a camera, and we get to know that this takes place 1 hour and 37 minutes after the start of the second test. Whenever this plays, we get to see it is the Sands team. And this is Anko's reaction to their finishing time. This can't be. In a mere 97 minutes, this has never been done before. And to put this in perspective, they've rewritten the fastest time by 4 hours. Anko responds, it's not just that. It's 10 kilometers from the test entrance to the tower. Ferocious animals, poisonous insects, the rugged forest road. If it wasn't for just that, then Anko points out Gara. We end this episode off with a question, what about Gara? And from a closer look, the reason why Anko pointed him out was that he didn't have a single scratch. Not only that, he didn't even have dirt, and in order to make it to the tower, even the most capable of ninja have to get scratched up. So they basically are saying, this guy is pretty capable. I'm going to be honest, this episode does not hold up at all. I was expecting a lot more for Gara. This was his grand entrance of being this super villain, and it felt really bad here. Like, the visuals of him murdering 3 people weren't as good as they could be. I don't expect like a bunch of blood, but there is seriously no way for me to be convinced too much. The only thing I do like is that the way that Gar talks, you can feel it. It feels real. There's so much hate in him, and it kind of just comes back at you and slaps you as well. But I want to look on the bright side. Naruto is awakened, and oh man, let's talk about one thing I think a lot of people should have caught on. There is a fourth wall break, and that is so crazy because if you think about it, this whole time we've been focusing a lot on Sasuke, and this series is called Naruto, by the way, not Sasuke, which is something I will point out. Overall, I can't rate this episode too high just because I think this deserves the anniversary treatment. We've been hearing about anniversary forever. I think it originally got like leaked or something, and people were complaining, and they were like, okay, we're going to put this in the vault till we finalize it. Please get this redone completely because this can be just so crazy, like Orochimaru and even that Sasuke episode. Like the Sasuke episode, that one holds up too much. But coming to the rating, I'm gonna say it is an 8-7. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are on Naruto episode 34. Hope you guys stay safe, and until next time, peace out, guys.